Hello, fellow writers. I wanted to make this video to talk to you about the first assignment in Comp 2 this semester, the Academic Success Proposal. I am making this video for all of my classes that are writing this assignment, and they all have different due dates. So you're seeing a due date here. That might not be the due date for your class. So I'm not going to say anything about due dates in this video. Just make sure you are looking at the assignment sheet for your own class to know when your due date is. Okay, up at the top we have the project goals. These are from the course objectives in the syllabus. At the end of the semester, you will turn in a portfolio and a reflection where you will show the work you did in class this semester, and you will write about how you met the course objectives through the work you did in this class. So I put these on the assignment sheet, so later this semester when you start working on the portfolio and the reflection, and you think, oh, what course objectives did we meet with that proposal paper we wrote? And you can pull up this assignment sheet and there they are. Okay, a proposal basically identifies a problem or a challenge and then recommends a solution. So this is a pretty simple concept. It's easy to kind of let your mind start wandering and thinking, oh, you know, this is a complicated thing. I don't know how to write this. All proposals have this in common. It's actually pretty simple. What you're going to do is identify a problem or a challenge and then recommend a solution and support it with evidence. So we'll talk more about that down here. All right. So these are the characteristics of written proposals. What you're going to do for your academic success proposal is think about the goals you have for your academic career. You know, whether you want to graduate from Pulaski Tech and then transfer to a four-year college and then graduate from there. Maybe after you graduate from Pulaski Tech, you plan to go right on into your career from there. Whatever your goals are, think about those, and it's a good idea to write those down. What are your goals? Do you want to graduate with all A's? Do you want to graduate in a certain amount of time? Just think about what your goals are, and then think of a problem or a challenge that could potentially get in the way of you being able to achieve your academic goals. So there's a lot of examples. There's a lot of things you could think about. Maybe time management. Maybe you don't have as much confidence as you wish you had. Maybe you procrastinate, and that can end up causing you to not make good grades in your classes. Whatever you think those are, and we all have our own thing. Down here, for an example, I wrote about something I struggled with when I was in college, and that was procrastination. I think that's something a lot of people have to fight. Okay, so what I did, I figured out my own, what my goals were at the time. I kind of pretended I was back in college, figured out my own goals, and then identified something that would get in the way of me achieving those goals. So then I took these 5 characteristics up here and filled in my own information. So this is a good thing that you could do. Once you know what the problem or challenge is that you want to address and the solution that you want to propose, you can start filling in this information. And once you have all of these 5 things filled in, you'll have kind of a basic outline for your paper, and that will help you get started writing. Okay, so number 1, you want a precise description of the problem, and then 2, you want a clear and compelling solution to the problem. So a proposal needs to have both of those things. You need to identify the problem so your reader will know what you were trying to solve, and then have a clear and compelling solution to whatever problem you are addressing. Number 3 is very important for this paper. You want to have evidence that your solution will address the problem. This is where your sources will come in. So for this paper, you need between 2 and 4 sources. You can have more than 4 if you want, but you at least need to have 2. For the example, I found a website called Education Corner that talks about time management, and it talks about how you have to manage your time carefully to achieve academic success. So I thought, since procrastination was my issue, that really has to do with time management. I thought if I were writing a paper about that, this would be a good source for that. So just be careful when you are looking online for sources. So for this assignment, you can use internet sources. For the next assignment, we'll be using strictly academic sources from the library's database. We'll only be using articles from academic journals for that assignment. For this one, you can use internet sources, but you know how it is on the internet. It's really easy to find bad information, so you want to make sure you're getting information from credible sources. When I was Googling time management for college students and good study habits for college students, I found a lot of colleges and universities that have articles about these topics on their own websites. So those would all be good, solid sources to use. If it's at a college website, I saw an article that Harvard had posted about time management. And there's a lot of different colleges out there that have articles like that because they provide resources for their own students. So anything from a college or university would be good. I also found articles in magazines that I know are good, solid sources. You just want to make sure you're not getting something off of somebody's blog that, you know, maybe they copied from somewhere else. You want to make sure you've got good, solid sources. So if you have a question about any of the sources you're thinking about using, you can just email it to me, email me a link, and I can look at it and tell you if I think it's a good source to use or not. Because you do want to make sure you've got good, solid evidence backing up your points on this paper. Okay. Also, number 5, a statement of what the proposal will accomplish. Once you have that filled in, you could develop that into your closing paragraph. I think a statement of what the proposal will accomplish would be a good way to end this paper. So just keep that in mind too. Once you've got that filled in, you've got to start on a closing paragraph. Okay, something else that will help you with this assignment is the writing a proposal roadmap that starts on page 99. The 5 characteristics that came from that chapter, and there's a lot of other good information there that can help you write this paper. So when you do sit down to start working on this paper and you find yourself thinking, now what am I supposed to do? Make sure you are looking at the assignment sheet and also that chapter that starts on page 99 in composition mix, because they can both help you. Of course, if you have questions that those don't answer, you can always ask me. Okay, and here are some things just to sort of get you thinking about how to write this paper, about identifying an academic goal you have, and then a challenge that could get in the way of that, then the solution. Okay. Also remember, this paper and all papers for this class need to be in MLA format. And since this paper requires evidence, you'll need to cite your sources. That means you need to have a works cited page, and it needs to be formatted according to MLA. Remember, in Blackboard under course materials, you have a folder that is full of MLA resources that can help you with this. There's a video where I'm showing basic MLA format without citation, and then I have another video that shows how to cite sources in MLA. The 2 things you need to make sure you have are a works cited page with your sources listed on it in MLA format. Each citation needs to be in MLA format. And then also you need in-text citations. So there are resources for how to put all of those in a paper in that MLA resources folder. Also remember, Purdue OWL Online is the best online MLA resource that exists. So that, and some of the resources in my folder will take you straight to that website. Okay, the word count on this, it needs to be between 500 and 800 words. If you go over 800, that's fine. If you're really inspired and you want to keep writing beyond 800, that's good. Feel free to do that, but you do need to have that minimum of 500 to get the points for the length. Also, when I'm checking the word count on a paper, I don't count the works cited page. What I do is I just open up your paper and grab the body of the paper, and that's what I count. So just make sure before you turn it in that you do that. Microsoft Word will let you just highlight, the body of the paper, and it'll tell you how many words just that part is. And just check that before you send it, because you want to make sure you get the points for the length, and that you need to have at least 500 words for that. Okay, there is a due date there. Remember, we're not looking at due dates because that might not be your due date. Okay, here's how the grade breaks down. Clarity and organization is 20%. That means that your meaning is coming through clearly, that I'm able to understand what you're saying, what your academic goal is, what the challenges that can get in the way of that, and what the solution is that you're proposing for that. Organization means your information in your paper is organized in a way that makes sense, that it flows, and that you've got the information organized into separate paragraphs. Every once in a while, I get a paper that is one paragraph, and that is not good organization. So please make sure you're writing your paper in separate paragraphs. Appropriateness to a rhetorical situation, that just means that you're staying on assignment here, and this is a proposal that you're writing, and it doesn't turn into, a narrative or something like that. Use of evidence, that's if you've got those between 2 and 4 sources that show why the proposed solution will work. And also those need to be credible sources. They need to be from good, solid sources. Grammar and mechanics, that's 15%. And again, that can affect how clearly your meaning is coming through. So that's what I'm looking for, is or do you have issues with grammar or punctuation or spelling that are keeping your meaning from coming through clearly? MLA format is 15%, so just make sure you've got all of that where it needs to be. There is an MLA checklist in the MLA resources folder. Before you turn in your paper, open up that checklist and just go down the list and make sure you've got everything the way it's supposed to be. 12-point type, the 4-line MLA heading at the top, the page numbers up at the top, double-spaced text all the way through, the same font and point size throughout the paper. That includes page numbers. Just look in there and it will, if you get down to the bottom of the list and you've got all that stuff in your paper, then you should get full credit for your paper. That's also going to include a correctly formatted works cited page and in-text citations that are used correctly. Okay, for the length, that's 10%. And that is, as long as it's at minimum of 500 words, you'll get credit for that. That is, 10% is a letter grade. So if you turn in a paper that's only 495 words, I have to cut it off somewhere. So make sure you do that word count so you don't drop a letter grade from that. Okay, now we're at the end. Okay, we're at the bottom of the assignment sheet. So good luck on this. I'm available for help. If you have questions, you can always text, email, or call. And leave a message if you call and I don't pick up right away. And I will see you guys soon, either online or in class.